Now there is 10-minute break. After 5 minutes we will join again to listen the next session by Professor Dwivedi sir. As Dwivedi sir already joined, we will take only 2-3 minutes for this. Please join again. Welcome again in the session 2 of day 3 of faculty development program on data management. As our resource person, Professor Dwivedi sir, already joined the session. I welcome Professor Dwivedi sir for giving us consent and going to deliver a lecture, a session on web mining, which is his area of interest. Professor Dwivedi sir is one of the renowned person in his area. Director sir also want to interact some. Director sir.
On the behalf of the students of our Institute of Modern Technology, its faculty members, management, and myself also welcome Professor Sanjay K. Dwivedi on this online faculty development program. And I'm very grateful to him that the moment I informed that RR Institute of Modern is going to organize a FDP under the umbrella of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, and you have to give a talk on it. He quickly agreed, sir. I didn't ask him on what date he will give no talk. I by my own decided a date, time, improved his name and informed him. Quickly agreed. There was later on the things that can fix. There was a request from one of the speakers That's why I will not be able to give on this date and time. So kindly change. And without hesitation, I ask संजय के द्विवेदी जी मैं आपका secretary ठीक है and pay is with us in the form of online virtually. They pray to the God that COVID-19 will finish very quickly and will invite him in person to deliver a talk on this topic or any more relevant topic. Even if can even will go find in his university, DVA2 Lucknow, he is organized in his seminar, faculty development, conference on any day in any topic or his interest. Basically, I don't want to take much time. I don't want to put myself between him and you. So I have it to go ahead
Yes,
as
sir.
per the schedule. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now over to Dipti ma'am. Introduce Professor Didi sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Very warm good afternoon to all participants and experts in the second session of K3 FDP organized by RRIMT and sponsored by AKT. I, Dipti Ranjan, welcome you all in this session. Today's session expert is Professor S.K. Dwivedi sir, Professor of EBAU, Lucknow. Sir having more than 23 years of experience and his expertise areas are AI, NLP, web mining, and word sense disambiguation. Sir has published several research papers in reputed national and international journals. I am again welcoming you, sir. Now over to you, sir.
Perhaps Dr. Didi sir disconnected due to network issue. Please wait. He will join very soon. Professor Dwivedi sir already joined and sharing his presentation. I welcome you again, sir, in this session. And now over to you to please.
हेलो
Yes, sir.
तुमको एक मिनट
Yes,
स्क्रीन
sir.
दिख रही है हमारी पीपीटी दिख रही
Yes, yes. Your PPT is not. You are just
मेरी
going to present. आपके PPT present होने जा. आप सर share कर रहे हैं screen. आप now you present your PPT. Share your PPT, then it will displayed on a screen. आप सब पीपीटी वाले को ऑन कर ले सर, टैब को। हाँ then yes sir, your PPT is visible now.
पीपीटी दिख रही है?
Yes sir, दिख रही है PPT. Yes, visible now.
अच्छा अच्छा।
Full screen please sir. It needs.
हाँ हाँ, गुड मॉर्निंग
Morning, all of you. In fact, rather, good noon.
am I audible?
Yes sir, audible sir, audible.
So, my first slide is visible to all of you.
Yes sir.
Web mining.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay.
Full mode please.
So,
full
in fact,
full screen sir.
हाँ,
It is request.
ठीक है, तो स्टार्ट
करूँ
करो।
मैं?
Yes sir.
ओके, तो गुड आफ्टरनून
All of you. This is Professor Sanjay Trivedi, currently in School of Information Science and Technology at Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University, Lucknow. The topic of my presentation in your 1 week workshop is web mining.
Basically, I will be
Telling you about this case study of Hindi-English cross-language information retrieval, that is in short known as CLIR, cross-language information retrieval. So here are the outlines of my lecture. I will be telling you about what is information retrieval and what are their types, and cross-language information retrieval, various approaches of CLIR, application areas of CLIR, then CLIR research centers in India. That means where in India CLIR researches are going on, and then tools of CLIR.
what are
Various challenges that the CLIR industry and researchers face.
related work.
All these things I will be covering in my topic. Followed by this, I will take a case study. Am I audible and visible?
Yes sir, if you please, full screen is required sir only.
Okay,
So
so
you have to please.
In case if you face any problem related to audio or screen, you just let me know.
Yes sir, yes sir. Sure sir.
Then I will be discussing a case study of a research that has been carried under my supervision of Hindi-English cross-language information retrieval. And this is very interesting sort of research in which I will explore how Hindi into English cross-language information research, retrieval research can happen, in which we have taken this Google search engine to retrieve documents, then experimental results and analysis, conclusion and then future references. So these are all topics that I will be covering.
so
Let us start by introducing this topic. What basically is information retrieval.
Sir, there is one
Oh.
request sir, please.
Hello?
F5 is required, sir. F5.
Okay.
Please press F5 button, sir. Only. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Fine, sir. Thank you.
So this is the first slide, introduction. Visible now?
Yes, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what basically is this is the introductory slide that will let you know about the process of information retrieval. Information retrieval is a widespread process, widespread area of research in computer science that is also applied basically in a specific area of data management and data science in which information is retrieved from various sources. Earlier, we used to retrieve information from databases. Nowadays, we focus retrieving information from various heterogeneous sources. Heterogeneous sources is the web and websites and internet. So all those documents available on the internet are to be retrieved. And unlike databases where data stored in various tables are very systematic, homogeneous sort of data in which you retrieve set of records. Web is not like that. It is a very heterogeneous source of information. Different type of informations are stored, different locations are there, and worldwide different servers are there, virtual servers are there. Then we have different file formats are there, and there is no specific format available on which people can upload the document onto website. So it's altogether a different area of research, how to retrieve information from the web. And how to retrieve information is not just enough. Whenever I say how to retrieve information, it means how to retrieve the most relevant information from the web. So relevancy is the most important thing. It is unlike the database retrieval in which you fire a query. Usually you write a SQL query which is very specific and based on the matching specific records are retrieved. But in web as a database, you cannot fire a query because there are lakhs or even crores of documents available on the internet. So even with a single query, lakhs of documents may match. So out of those matching documents, which of the documents are of any use to you? That is an important thing, and that is called relevancy. So if you take the definition point of view, you can see this third and fourth point. It's a fourth point in fact. It is concerned with methods of storing, organizing, retrieving information from a collection of documents. So I'm not talking here the databases. I'm talking the big database, that is the internet, the web as a database. And what is the goal of retrieving information from the internet? The goal of retrieving information is this last point. That is, it should satisfy the need of user. Whatever user wants, it should satisfy. And what is the big challenge here? The big challenge here is that you usually place your requirement in terms of few keywords. Like whatever you do on search engines, you place a few keywords, 2, 3 word keyword, 4 word keywords, and you wish to get information of your requirement. But often it happens that a few keywords cannot index the relevant document from the internet because it contains lakhs of documents that match your query. So the question here is how to match the most relevant documents based on few English word or Hindi word or any other language in which you are searching. How to match those words with the available documents on the internet. This is the challenge here. So let us know what are the various types of information retrieval. One very common form of retrieving information from the internet is IR, or you see monolingual IR.
Monolingual
IR is the one that we are doing. Like if you fire any query on the internet and you get the result in the same language in which the query has been fired, it is called monolanguage information, lingual information retrieval. So if you are firing a query or if you are typing a query on a search engine in English language and you are getting the results of English language, it is a monolingual information retrieval, the most common form that we are using. Then it comes cross-lingual information retrieval. The cross-lingual information retrieval is basically it deals with two languages, like queries filed in one language and documents retrieved in another language, like Hindi and English. And this is the area of information retrieval I will be taking as a case study. Cross-lingual information retrieval. Then finally, the very complex and hybrid form that is called multilingual information retrieval. So in multilingual information retrieval, what happens? User purchases a query in one language and retrieves document of more than two languages. Like, for example, you are using query in say English language, and if you wish to retrieve documents of English language, Hindi language, French language, then it becomes a multi-language information retrieval case. Okay. So this is the basic diagram of cross-language information retrieval, a subfield of information retrieval. Like you can see in this diagram, users are firing the query in Hindi language. Query is getting translated in other language. So source language is Hindi. Then this Hindi language query is translated. Then web search is performed. And after performing the web search, results are retrieved and made available to the user in the same language, that is, in English language, because query has been transformed here in English language from Hindi language, and all those results available on the web search engine, its index database are searched and they are ranked, and after ranking, those English results are put to the users on the web search page. It can be modified, like the results can be translated into the language of user's query, that is Hindi, and then results in the Hindi language can be placed to the user. So there are two forms basically of CLIR. Then what are the approaches of CLIR? In CLIR, three types of approaches are used for query and document translation. What are those three types? One is called query translation, another is called document translation, and another is called dual translation. That is both query translation and document translation. So these are the three methods of CLIR. So anyone who is doing research in the similar area would have a better understanding, or all those of you who wish to do a research or a project in this very interesting area which involves web mining, internet search engines, and NLP, natural language processing. Basically, it's a subfield of artificial intelligence in which can be applied to these methods. So whenever you see all these three methods use the word translation, query translation, document translation, and dual translation. But translation means this is the area of artificial intelligence called NLP, in which the word translation basically is explained. So translation means machine translation, MT. It is machine translation. So machine translation basically requires set of databases, various types of databases, various types of algorithms, and then your parsing, etc., tagging, etc. All these terminologies are used whenever you wish to translate sentences or documents from one language to another language. Okay.
This is the diagram for
query translation, the first of the three methods of CLIR. As you can see, user has given a query in Hindi language. There is a translation system that is called MT, machine translation. So this is the module that translates Hindi query into English query. Then this English query is placed to this search engine, which this search engine has a collection of English documents, and English documents are indexed. After indexing, the retrieval engine retrieves a set of documents in form of links that you see on your screen, and those retrieved engines are put to the user as a result, and the results are placed to the user illegally. So obviously and interestingly, Hindi queries are given and English results are retrieved. So this is good for all those persons who are not very good in framing queries in English.
though
They wish to retrieve results in English, but they prefer to frame queries in Hindi. So this is query translation approach. Then you can see document translation approach. The document translation approach is the one in which documents are translated into query language. So this is broader and a bit difficult. Not to say difficult, it's a time-consuming process. Documents are translated into query language rather than queries are translated into document language. So whenever it comes to translate document, basically two types of approaches are followed: pre-document translation and post-document translation. So what are these two? Pre-document translation, as you can see, the figure can explain it very well. Queries in Hindi, you see, and then there's a retrieval in Hindi, retrieval engine. Hindi document collections are there. Then documents available on the web are Chinese document, and Chinese documents are translated into Hindi documents, and then those Hindi documents are retrieved. So you are giving the query into Hindi language and getting the results into Hindi language, but the original results are available in Chinese language. So this is called. So what happens in pre-document translations? It is required to translate all documents well in advance, or sometimes all those documents only which match with the query keywords. That is why it is called offline translation.
offline because
Documents are pre-translated into desired query language. And obviously there will be an issue, as it has been mentioned in the slide, that as the number of target language increases, each document will need to be translated into all target languages. So if there are more target languages,
like there are
many Chinese, French, German, Hindi, English, then it will require more and more time to translate. Then comes post-document translation. You see, post-document translation is also known as and where needed, as and when needed, or on-the-fly translation.
that means
Documents of any language searched by user are translated into user language at query time. So this is an online process, not an offline process. Whenever a query is fired, at the same time documents are translated. Just like you may have heard or you may have studied in systems software runtime environment. So this is similar to that. Translations are done at runtime. So
there is issue
infeasibility. Why it is infeasible? Because it requires more time for translation, because it is online translations, the user might have to wait few seconds to get the translated results because the documents have not been pre-translated. Okay. Then there is a dual approach. Both queries and documents are translated. This is a very complex approach. Queries can also be translated and then document can also be translated. As you can see, German query, then translated into English query, then translated into French query, and then French results are retrieved. Or when German queries are translated into English query, English documents are retrieved. Then English query are further translated into French query, then French results are retrieved, then French results are translated to English results, English documents, and then finally all are merged. All these different language documents are merged, and after the merger, final list is available to the user. So you can see here in dual approach, though it's a complex but very useful approach. It involves query of one language only, but retrieval of documents from many languages. So why all these type of approaches are beneficial, or why CLIR is so talked about? Why this is very interesting area of discussion and research? As you have seen also on Google, whenever you used to search on Google search engine, this type of things once made available, you will not be bothered about the languages. Suppose you wish to get some information about say machine learning. Now you only know the English language, but you know documents on the internet may be available in various languages. But since you know only English language, you will not be able to. Since you know only English language, you will not be able to get the documents of other languages. So in this case, the system will automatically do it for you. The English documents, the English language query will be translated into various languages, and after getting it translated, you will get the results of your choice, right? This is hybrid translation, also called as hybrid translation, and there is a language called pivotal language that comes in between. As you can see on the last line, in order to translate between any pair of language A and B, first translate A to pivotal language P, and then pivotal language P is translated to B. So if you wish to translate between two languages A and B, and there is no translation tool available between A and B, then you have to translate A into some other language, and then from some other language, the final language B can be translated. What are the various applications? Language information retrieval. In fact, in almost all walk of life, in all areas, or whatever you can think, it has applications. Like in medical domain, multimedia information retrieval, video question answering system, video questions, or normal question answering system. So in almost all areas, cross language information retrieval has a role to play, and you must have encountered also. You may have been doing it also. Mostly all of you are doing what? As I can tell you, whenever you use any search engine like Google, you may be getting answers of only English language, or possibly in Hindi language, but you will not be able to get answers of German, French, Russian, Chinese language. But once this CLIR systems are ready, you will get answers or documents of all important researches of different languages that you may not be knowing. So despite you do not know any language,
you get the results of those languages also. So it's your knowledge domain, your information need will just be broadened because of information you are getting from various languages without knowing those languages. Similarly, business too has a good application because business research and development, as I have been talking about, education, because different in different countries or even in India, in different regions, different languages are spoken, and education is delivered. Lectures are delivered in different languages. So once you have such type of systems, you won't have any problem in getting the desired documents, getting the desired results in your own language without knowing those languages.
Intra-domain and inter-domain.
Now, what are the research centers that are available in Indian and foreign languages, especially for CLIR? Research centers.
तो लेवल में कैसे जाएगा?
So, as you can see, a number of prominent organizations are there which are doing research in this area. IR, CLIR, machine translation. It is available on your screen, as you can see. All many IITs are doing research, good research. Even Government of India has a special cell that is known as technology development in Indian languages.
How to man?
Technology development in Indian languages. It is available on Government of India, Ministry of IT website. Ministry of IT website, it is available. So all these institutions are doing good job in their respect, which is like Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, Indian Statistical Institute, Jodhpur University. These are doing research in Bengali language. IIT Bombay is doing research in Marathi, English, and other Hindi and other Indian languages, and likewise. CDAC, you may all be aware about CDAC, Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC Pune, Noida, then Utkal University. DIT, as I was talking about, Department of Information Technology in New Delhi is doing good research. Microsoft, Bangalore, and Google Corporation. You all are aware that Google is doing so much research in Indian languages. Then TDIL, I just have spoken about TDIL. It's a Government of India department. Technology Development in Indian languages. There is a consortium. And then there are so many other institutions worldwide which are doing research in various languages for CLIR system development. These are only just few names. And various CLIR tools have been developed in recent days. Various CLIR tools, like Sapphire is a tool. As you can see, you can explore it also using their website. This is the URL. And number of languages, you can see English, German, French, Russian, Spanish, and Portuguese are used. Then Munidix is another system that has been developed by German Research Center for AI. This is their portal, and it has also German, French, and English languages they have developed. This is the approach they have used, K nearest neighborhood approach, and an n-gram categorization they have used, and pattern-based categorization for short documents. Then UCLIR is a system that has been developed in New Mexico State University in 2004. Then it works for Japanese, Korean, and Arabic languages. And likewise, then Kezai is a system that has been developed again in the similar same university in 1999. So you can see the research has been done since 1999 in this area. But in recent years only we have got some success in developing good CLIR system. All these systems can be explored by all of you audiences. Then Miracle is a system that works English, French, German, Spanish, and Hindi language. And then there's another system, Calcim, in University of Tokyo, Japan. Then let us know about some of the challenges of CLIR. What are various challenges in CLIR system? Queries and documents are in different languages, so obviously there is a challenge of translation, and if the translation is not of good quality, the MT system is not of good quality, the entire CLIR system will be affected. And words in query may be ambiguous. Ambiguity is a big problem in all IR systems and CLIR systems. And what is this ambiguity? It means if a word has a different meaning, and if you put that word in a query, a word having different meaning, and if you put that word in a query, so it will be difficult for the search engine to analyze, identify which word is to be used. That is called ambiguity. So there is a separate research in this area, and the research is known as WSD, Word Sense Disambiguation. WSD is a separate branch in machine translation or NLP, and it's a very challenging and good area of research. Queries are usually short because on internet you don't put big queries. The practice is usually to place short queries. So in few words, it is difficult to let the search engine, which is after all a machine, so let the search engine understand your intentions. So like sometimes you wish to explain someone, you explain in full sentences, but whenever you wish to retrieve some document from the internet, you usually place small queries. The small queries will not be able to hold the entire feeling of whatever you want to search. And unavailability of documents can also be a challenge, because in some languages very less documents are available on the internet. Earlier it was the case of Hindi language also, but nowadays in Hindi lots of documents are available on the internet. But still, it is, as compared to English or some other leading world languages, Hindi contents are still too less. So if the contents are less, the results will also be not that effective. And retrieval effectiveness, in fact, if the first 4 points are the challenge, the effectiveness will also be affected. And then incorrect representation of query, like sense problem, it has a second point, you can see ambiguity. So it reflects to ambiguity, incorrect representation of query, not placing the query words in the right order. A number of researchers, I have just taken a few researchers for your reference only, how they have worked to in the area of this cross-language information retrieval. Earlier in the previous slides, I have given you a glimpse of some of the systems that have been developed. There are many more other systems available. You can explore and get information. And this slide and a few slides coming afterwards, after this, will let you know about some of the researchers who are working or who have worked in very relevant and good research in this area. All these are the researchers. FIRE is a data set. FIRE. I hope you can see this. FIRE is a data set that has been used, because in all CLIR or IR research, if you wish to improve the quality of result, you need to know, or you need to have a data set. So FIRE is a data set that has been used by researchers, many researchers in fact. And you can see English Hindi research has also been carried out by many researchers. Then again English to Hindi research. Then TREC also is a data set, and standard queries. TREC basically is the name of Text Retrieval Conference. TREC. Text retrieval. RE for retrieval and C for conference. So TREC 9 means the ninth conference of TREC. So this provides standard data set for queries, and it explains that query. So whenever you are performing or doing research in this area, you would be required to use TREC data set also for queries. So this fellow has done the research in Chinese language, and this fellow has used Dong Zhao Wikipedia database. He has used Wikipedia database, as you can see. So any database, if you use, must serve the purpose for which you are using it. Then let us know the case study I have taken, especially for you. Hindi English CLIR system. Hindi to English cross language information retrieval system. This is a research that has been completed under my supervision, and it has been completed successfully, and we have shown through this research how to improve Hindi to English CLIR system, or how to build a good performing Hindi to English CLIR system. So just to have a background, let us see these few points. It is the process of adding related terms to original query. Like for example, how to improve the CLIR system of Hindi to English. So for that we have used query, improving the query. We have gone through the path of improving the query, because what we know is that queries are the most appropriate thing to improve the quality of results in CLIR system. So example is, you can see if you have used a query Apple, then expanded query could be Apple rate, Apple price, etc. So original query is Apple, but your system has made this query or expanded this query by using another term, rate first and then price next. So what is the goal in this particular research? The goal is to improve the relevancy of retrieved documents of CLIR. So how to improve the relevancy of retrieved? Relevancy means the quality documents against a query. Last point you can see, it enhances the concept of user's query by adding the most suitable words. How to know what is the most suitable word which can be added to a query. So this comes through an algorithm or set of algorithm which identifies the most suitable term which can be placed before or after a query to make the query more appropriate, so that quality documents are retrieved at the top. How can this, be done? Query expansion, as I have told you, query expansion is the main way through which you can improve the results of CLIR. Because improving the quality of result is a challenge in any information retrieval system. So we have targeted how to improve the results of CLIR system. So basically there are three ways of improving the results through query expansion. One is manual, second is interactive query expansion, and third one is automatic query expansion. Like in manual query expansion, you have been doing it on the Google. Like you will place a query. If the results are not good, you change the query by adding new word, changing the word, removing the word. That is called manual query expansion. Then interactive query expansion again happens on the Google. Usually, the Google search engine, when you give a query, usually asks, what do you mean? You must have encountered this. So whenever Google asks, what do you mean this? By placing the term this, what do you mean this term? then if you select that term, it means that term is incorporated in your query and search is performed again. So this is called interactive query expansion. And the final one is the most challenging one. It is automatic query expansion. It doesn't involve any human intervention, any interactive query expansion. Give a query specific from your system, CLIR system, to automatically understand what does this query mean and what type of documents are to be retrieved. So accordingly, it enhances the query. So automatically enhances the query, but it doesn't appear to you on the screen. Query expansion takes place internally and you only get the result. So for you have given a query up to 3 words, but internally query gets modified based on the requirement that the algorithm understands, and then search is being performed internally and you get the final results. So for a common man, he or she has given only 2-3 word query and he has got the result only because of those 2-3 words. But actually, internally it is happening differently. Query gets modified. Now, there is a model that has been chosen by us in the English cross retrieval system for relevancy improvement using QE, that is query expansion. And for this we have used the UAM corpus tool. UAM corpus tool has been used. It was developed by Autonomous University of Madrid by computational linguist Mike O'Donnell. So this corpus tool has been used. It is freely available on Telegram. So basically this tool just is a counting tool. What does it do? It can be integrated in our system for evaluation of length of each retrieved document, which is required in our algorithm. That is total number of words as well as frequency of each query term. This is the overall model that we have designed and developed for improving the relevancy of documents through query expansion or cross-language information retrieval. I hope it is visible to all of you. Am I audible and the slides are visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
File network, sir. Please.
Okay. So you can see here the first box that has been
Initial query in Hindi language. This is the very first step. Initial query is implemented in Hindi language because I am discussing cross-language information retrieval. So in cross-language, we have taken 2 languages, Hindi and English.
and
The query has been put in Hindi language and query gets translated. So we have used Google translation tool, the online translation tool, to translate query from Hindi to English.
So in order to know whether query has been correctly translated or not, the technique that we have used in this is called back translation. As you can see in the next big box, step 2. The step 2 simply says that query is translated and back translation has been tried to know whether query is correctly translated or not. So if the query is not correctly translated, the back translation tool automatically checks it and corrects it, or if user intervention is required, it reflects the user that these are the possible translations, so which one you want to select. So accordingly, query finally gets translated into English. Then Google search is performed. In step 3, you can see Google search is performed. And after searching, documents are ranked. You can see ranking module of the Google is used to rank those documents. This is the initial search. And then after ranking, we have used Okapi BM25 algorithm. So this algorithm basically re-ranks the query according to our requirements. So original ranking is due to Google,
And Ukapti algorithm is used to revamp the query according to our requirement just to get the most desired document as per our need. Most desired documents as per our need to be placed at the top of the search results. This is the purpose of Ukapti algorithm. So after this, we filter the candidate terms, and in this module, step 4, we use a number of resources
that we have developed or we have used,
like FIRE dataset we have used. We have used basically 3 datasets for this purpose. FIRE is a dataset. FIRE stands for Forum for Information Retrieval Research. Forum for Information Retrieval Research. FIRE dataset. Basically, it is for Indian languages. So another is we have used a snippet dataset. We have created the snippet datasets. What are the snippets? Snippets are the 2-3 lines that appear after each link. That is, whenever you use a query and then fire the query onto search engine, the search engine retrieves set of results, and after each link there are 2-3 words that explains what exactly is in that link. So those 2-3, not to say 2-3 words, 2-3 lines, right? After each link. So those 2-3 lines are known as snippets. So snippets are the better or in fact very good source of retrieving the document.
Snippets are a very good source of retrieving the
getting the desired results or the keywords. Then we have used another data set. Basically, these 3 data sets are not used simultaneously. These 3 data sets are used
at different times,
just to know which data set is more useful. Third data set is neighboring word data set. So this has been data set has been prepared from the retrieved documents itself. For every query, set of documents have been retrieved, and out of the retrieved documents, we have identified the neighboring words
of the query
and collected those documents and prepared the data set. So this is the data set, 3 data set we have used. So after using this copy, rearrangement of re-ranking of documents have been done. Then we have step 5 and 6, filtering of candidate terms. These are the terms that we have filtered.
And these terms,
one or two of these terms will be put along with the original query. I have been talking about query expansion. So query expansion, for query expansion we need to have few relevant terms. So where from these terms will come? These terms will come from this exercise step 4 and step 5. So after step 4 and 5 set of terms we will be getting these terms are the most relevant terms from the point of view of query. Okay. So these terms we have obtained, and then we have computed the TSV value, term selection value. This is a small algorithm that computes which out of these terms are the most appropriate terms. So based on the TSV value and lowest TSV value, the term having lowest TSV value will be the most suitable term to be amended with the query. Either it will be placed before the query word, in between the query word, or at the end of query word. That will be decided by another algorithm. But TSV is the algorithm that will decide which term is to be used along with the query, right? So the term has been obtained. After the term has been obtained, in step 7, we perform step 8, query has now been expanded. New term has been added to the query, and then this is the final search that we are performing using the same search tool. The first search we have performed for internal purpose, and after expansion of the query, final search has been performed, and after final search, we have got the final result. As you can see in step 9, we have got the final result.
This is the overall approach
of how to expand the query to get the better results,
most
relevant results in a CLIR system, right?
in a CLIR system. Now, some basics about this model that we have used. We have used 50 Hindi queries for testing the utility, testing the quality of retrieved documents or relevancy of retrieved documents. We have taken 50 queries from the forum data, FAIR data set. FAIR stands for Forum of Information Retrieval Research. So this data set has been used to take the query. Basically, what this data set contains, as you can see in the second point, FAIR is an evaluation forum, and its aim is to encourage South Asian language information access research by providing text collection. So it is a data set that contains set of queries in Hindi language, since we are doing the research for Hindi to English. So we have taken this data set. So for each query, it also informs about what are the possible outcome of this query. So testing of result would be very easy once we take FAIR data set. And then we have used query translation, as I have shown in the figure. Original query is translated. So it involves the translation of query with or without human involvement. So queries can be translated with the human involvement, as well as it could be automatic also. But for automatic query translation, we need to have very accurate algorithm, most appropriate algorithm. So in our case, we have used interactive query translation approach. And we have used back translation approach for improving the accuracy of query translation, as have been discussed in the model that I have just shown you. The back translation approach has been used for improving the accuracy of automatic query translation. It's very effective, and many researchers have used back translation. So it does not require any prior knowledge of the target language. So it becomes very easy. And searching and re-ranking for this, in the model itself, I have already explained that we have retrieved only top 10 documents originally from the Google. Against each query, we have taken 5 Hindi queries. Those queries have been translated by back translation approach to English query. And for each retrieved results, we have taken only top 10 results, because what we have assumed here is only top 10 results are most important results against each query. And now, when those results have been obtained for each query, we have used the FATIC DM2.5 model to re-rank those queries. As you can see in the last point, re-ranking using this FATIC algorithm arrange the relevant document at the top by adjusting the order of relevancy of retained document. So highly ranked document will be put by this algorithm at the top. And this is our objective also. We only wanted that only most appropriate document should be at the top. This is the FATIC algorithm. So I need not explain this algorithm in detail. Just the purpose of why we use this algorithm I have already explained. Like Q is the query, D stands for the capital N is the number of documents in the collection, FT is the number of documents containing term T, that is the query term, and then FDT, number of occurrences of term T in document T. Okay, and then value K has been computed like this. The value K, this is the K, and the K is computed like we are using in this form. And this UML corpus tool has been used for computing the occurrence of words in the retrieved document and frequency. And then how we have filtered the candidate terms, we have used this 3 data sets, as I have explained. First data set we have used
use of fire. Second data set or test collection we have used, that is the snippets of retrieved documents itself. And the third is the nearest neighborhood data sets that we have collected from the retrieved documents. The snippets are the 2-3 lines that appear just below each link of the retrieved document, and nearest data neighborhood document collection has been done by using the retrieved documents, not the snippets. And term selection value, this TSV has been computed like this. Here we have used this algorithm TSV. It is used to compute, like if we have 3, 4, 5 candidate terms, so we have to select one of these, which is the most appropriate. For this, we compute the TSV value of each term, and the lower TSV value term has been used for query expression. This is the TSV algorithm. Now, how to add new term that has been obtained in query at appropriate location. I was telling you, once we have got the most suitable term to be added to the query for query extension, we have to decide that at which place this most suitable document has to be added. Whether it should be added at the beginning of the query, or in the middle of the query somewhere, or at the end of the query. So the location, basically, this algorithm will let us know where to place the new term to the query, so that the query is appropriately expanded. Because why we are doing this? The reason for this is, we have already experimented this, that once you have identified the new term to be added to the query, and you have just placed the term randomly anywhere in the query, the results get affected. So term has to be placed at the most appropriate place within a query. So for this, we have to identify at where the term has to be added. And how we have performed the experiment for the CLIR. Already told you about 50 queries that we have taken for the results. So what are the steps? We have run the original query of Hindi language, translated query to English language, performed back translation for translated query. And step 4, 1 gram analysis has been done. So most distant, the neighborhood word, that is immediate left or immediate right of a query word has been taken for evaluation. And this is the set of queries we have taken from the FAR data set. So from the left side of the table you can see the query in Hindi language. On the right side you can see the translated query in English language. These are the 50 queries. And these are the appearances and frequency that has been computed using UML corpus tool. And then after the capture algorithm has been applied, so the original intent query has been changed. You see, original ranking of the document has been ranked as document 5. Original rank of document 2 has now been ranked at document 1. That means ranking has changed after applying the capture algorithm for all 40 documents. Then we have used term selection value. And this example that has been shown, that for the query, translated queries, say for example, why is replaced. So we have obtained to compute TSV, we have obtained 6 keywords except the query words. What are the query words? First is YSR, second is ready, and third is there. So these 3 terms will not be used. If any of these 3 terms appear, then these 3 terms will be excluded. So only new terms will be taken. So there are 6 keywords have been obtained, and we have used TSV algorithm. So TSV we have computed, and using chief and minister, these 2 terms have the TSV value
You see, lowest the terms are the most appropriate to be added to the query. So after using these two terms, Chief and Minister, the original query has now been modified as Chief Minister YSR Reddy's death. Now, you might ask whether these two words have been put before, in the middle, or the after. That is done by second algorithm. So we have just put these two words at the beginning, just to show that these two are the most appropriate words to be put in the query to modify the query. Now this table lets you see. I hope you all are able to see this, that original query after translation into English, then we have three data sets. So all three data sets have given different words for query extension. Like fire data set, first query you can see, fire data set has given two words, Chief and Minister. Snippet has given investigation, and nearest neighborhood given Congress. You can see it very easily how these three data sets are behaving. So all these bold words are the expanded words for three data sets. We have to compute the precision, the accuracy, the redundancy of three data sets. So for this precision, recall, and submeasure, these are the formula to test the data sets and test the results we have taken. And we have used Google, Microsoft, and Verilog as research tools. So you see, this is the original. These are the results, collective results. This is the result for back translation. These are the results for back translation. And then query expansion results. Then this is the query expansion result without ranking, query expansion with the highest frequency, and query expansion lowest frequency. You can see. Then we have query expansion with and without vocabulary. Just for here we wanted to know that after using vocabulary V25, has it affected any way the results? For this we have to use query expansion with and without this algorithm. So this is the result, query expansion. You see, before query expansion this was the precision. After query expansion with vocabulary and without vocabulary, you can see with vocabulary algorithm, the first column, first query, you can see 0.8 is the precision, and without vocabulary 0.7 is the precision. And you can see without vocabulary precision is lower, with vocabulary precision is higher. So that means vocabulary algorithm is what's using here, right? And these are all the results that I have explained you in brief. And then another results are there. Query expansion using three test collections like fire, snippet, and nearest neighbor. So what are the impact of all these three test collections? And here we wanted to know which of these test collections are better for this particular result. So you can see average precision, you can see using fire, using snippet, and nearest neighborhood. So if I go to the last mean average precision, you can see fire gives 0.57 for its precision, snippet gives 6.6, and nearest neighborhood gives. So the lowest precision has been obtained with the nearest neighborhood data set, and the highest precision has been obtained with snippet as a data set, and the fire data set gives the precision which lies in between. So clearly it is visible from the three data sets that the best precision or the best results have been obtained using the nearest snippet data set. And this is obvious also. It appears to us very obvious that snippets are the live and ever-changing data sets, because every time you retrieve a result, the snippet gets modified because ranking gets modified, so snippet also gets. So it's a real-time data set, and that is why we get newer and better words every time. And this is the mean average here. And then we have compared our result with the previous results or most similar results, and we have found that our results are better. So, in order to compare our results, we have to focus only on those results which we have done, which have been carried using the English. But in the English data sets or results were not very much available, so we have compared some of our results with the similar researchers. So we found that using a snippet as a data set, we have got better results than the contemporary researchers which are worth
दिखाओगे अब थोड़ा भी सेशन के बाद अरे नेटवर्क डाउन हो गया क्या? नेट चला गया।
हाँ तो डाउन हुआ देख
जल्दी ऑन करिए, दिक्कत है क्या? आया क्या कर रहे हैं उधर? कुछ सेटिंग में गड़बड़ कर रहे हैं क्या कुछ?
नहीं उधर वहीं से गया था
ठीक है, चलिए आगे। बंद करिए, बंद करके बैठिए, आइए बंद करके आइए, बैठिए, बंद कर दीजिए, पूरा बंद करिए। यस सर। अच्छा, थैंक यू सर। ओके एक्चुअली नेटवर्क थोड़ा डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था सर। ओके, थैंक यू। Thank you, Professor Dwivedi sir, for your nice talk. Dear participants, in this web mining session of web mining, Professor Dwivedi sir gave in-depth of cross-language information retrieval, as well as the importance of this cross-language information retrieval system. Sir delivered the model of Hindi-English language cross-language information retrieval system that was very much useful to retrieve information. I thanks to Professor Dwivedi sir for his nice talk, and thank you for this session sir. We are all benefited by this session. Dear participant, if you have any query, then you please send it or write it in chat box. We will discuss, we will provide this information to the Dwivedi sir. Sir, this one question is from my side, sir, if you don't mind, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, this cross language can be useful for any language. Two different languages we can use this model, or this is for Hindi English only?
Look, as I told in the beginning, probably you are not there at the time. It is applicable for all languages,
Okay.
all natural languages.
Okay.
Be it European language, Indian
Yes,
languages.
sir. You discussed Germany language. One example you gave, sir.
German,
Yes, sir.
Chinese,
Yes.
French, whatever language. If there is a translation not possible between these two languages, then we use a hybrid approach, and in which we do use a pivotal language.
Yes, sir.
So just like compilers are constructed, we use a pivotal language to translate the one natural language into an intermediate language, and then intermediate language to the target language. This is the way it is done.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you again for your session.
Okay, ji.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Director
Thank
sir.
you, Professor S.P. Tripathi sir, if he is available, that's your director,
Yes, sir.
for giving me this time.
No, sir, it is our pleasure, sir.
सर को नमस्कार।
हाँ, नमस्कार। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको। आपने इतना अच्छा talk किया, और हम लोग आपको बुलाएंगे, और अपना सहयोग और आशीर्वाद हमारे संस्थान को प्रदान करते रहें। धन्यवाद
सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you once again, sir. Dear participant, there is one attendance link. Please fill the attendance for this session. Also, there is one feedback form. You are all required to fill this feedback form.